So, Southpaw Grammar. This was the Anomaly Oddball album. People kind of like stuck a gun to my head and was like, kill Uncle or Southpaw Grammar or Maladjusted right now. And I'm like, okay. So I picked this one because it felt kind of silly to go back in time and do kill Uncle. So it's like, oh, Maladjusted looks kind of silly. And so this is what's funny about my channel is like, I'll do, Vauxhall and people will be like, you really got to do Southpaw. And then I'll do Southpaw and everyone's like, why did you do Southpaw? And like, where were the people before who had my, who were like encouraging me to do this, and now all of a sudden it's like, why'd you do Southpaw? You should have done Maladjusted. It's like, sorry, I can't appease everyone all the time. I'm not made of time. So, very interesting, unique album, especially for Morrissey. 47 minutes, only 8 tracks, 2 of which are over 10 minutes, obviously. So this form had, you're being gaslighted, that's right. 7 responses on Southpaw Grammar. This is weird, okay? This is the weirdest one, all right? You guys are going to be stunned. Number 1 at 3.1 is The Boy Racer. Number 2, 3.2, is The Operation. Number 3 at 3.5, Southpaw. 3.7, Reader Meet Author. 4, The Teachers Are Afraid of the Pupils. 6, Dagenham Dave. And then tied at 6.1 is Do Your Best and Don't Worry and Best Friend on the Payroll. So, you guys have some explaining to do. Frostbite, Southpaw Grammar, what do you think?
I would say my list is pretty close to the overall list. I had the boy. It was strange because when you first announced you were doing Southpaw Grammar, I was like, "Why is he doing that album?" But
I'm still thinking of the answer to that question, and I don't know why I did it.
But when I went back and listened to it, I don't know. It's not as horrible as I remembered it being. I guess because I thought it was just a terrible album. I mean, going back and listening to it, it's not one of his best, but I don't think it's as bad as I had pictured in my mind that it was.
Sure.
But I had The Boy Racer at number 1. I really liked it. I thought it was catchy, and I thought it was just really rocking the beat of the song. And I'm a rock guy, I like rock music, so that song was stood out to me as my best.
Is there a reason you would put Boy Racer above like the longer tracks like Southpaw or Teachers?
I thought, I had those two pretty high too. I had The Teachers at number 2 and Southpaw at 4. I don't know. They seemed kind of, they were okay, I thought, but for as long as they were, it didn't feel like there was enough going on in the song to keep my attention for that length of time.
Okay.
I had The Operation at 3, and I thought the main part of The Operation was good. I would honestly probably not revisit it a lot just because I don't want to listen to the long drum intro.
Yeah. Just skip to like 2 minutes in.
Yeah. And I put Dagenham Dave as number 5 because I it's kind of silly, but I thought it was kind of catchy too. So and Reader Meet Author, Do Your Best, and Best Friend on the Payroll. Those are 3 were just there, so I had those as the bottom 3 for the album.
Anyone who doesn't put Dagenham Dave at the bottom, like I ironically berate them. Let's put it that way. So, ironically and not seriously, you mean nothing to me now.
I thought about just listing Dagenham Dave at number 1.
Ooh. I can't remember if someone put it at number 1. I think I still have the Excel. Let me look. Southpaw. Okay, the highest someone put Dagenham Dave was number 3.
That's high, actually.
It is.
I think that might be me.
That might be you. Okay, so next we have Sponge. What do you think of Southpaw, and why'd you put Dagenham Dave at number 3?
I don't know. That's just one of the tracks I always come back to. I put that in playlists along with Boy Racer.
Did you put Operation at number 1?
Well, that must not be me then.
Oh.
I think I put Boy Racer at number 1.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Maybe you put maybe this one that I'm looking at, you put Dagenham Dave at number 5.
Yeah, that must be me.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's a little bit better.
Yeah. is that and Darren, Dave, and Boy Racer I put in playlist because they're. I can just easily listen to them. I really like those songs.
I think, again, this thing doesn't say who said what, but looking at, because I know I put Southpaw, then Teachers, then Operation, and I'm the only one who's done that on this list. So if this is the one I'm looking at, that's right, I put Boy Racer as my top song after because I love obviously if you've seen the video, I love the longer songs more than the other ones. But of the shorter ones, I think the Boy Racer is the best one. So I feel you on that.
This album I don't come back to much, and I don't know why. I just never come back to it. I always go back to Vauxhall and Your Arsenal, but never usually this one for some reason. I have no idea why.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really have like that album flow, you know. It's like I feel like the shorter songs are, you know, whether or not you think they're different in quality, they're definitely different in like tone and style than the longer ones. Because there's something so progressive and almost post-rocky about the longer tracks. Except for maybe Operation, which just kind of feels like 2 or 3 songs sandwiched together, kind of like station to station. But like the first and the last tracks are just so progressive that like it's hard to listen to those and then just go into, you know, typical 3-4 minute Morrissey rock songs. So it doesn't really flow. And it's like I said in the video, like I would easily come back to like an EP that just had the 3 long songs on it. I'd be perfectly fine with that. But yeah, just as a whole album, it just doesn't feel like it flows all that well.
Yeah, maybe if you like plunked all the long songs together and then put all the short songs together, that might have made it a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like with what Bowie did on like Low, where it's like you put the Bowie songs on one side and then like the Eno stuff on the other side and kind of split it up, possibly. Ralph, what do you think of Southpaw?
I actually like it. Not very much, but quite a lot. For the first, my favorite song of it would be Southpaw. The second would be The Boy Racer, and the third, The Operation. But the problem with The Operation, my favorite part of this song is the drum solo in the beginning.
That's good.
Okay, it's gonna be a twig moment here, but actually, I believe Dagenham Dave is better than Reader Meet Author. Yeah, I know.
I mean, see, here's the thing. It's like Dagenham Dave is like such. It's such a like. It feels like you're being attacked by like a but not like with like a sword or a weapon, but just like a noodle, and you're just like, oh, this. I'm kind of annoyed. But it's like some of the songs on this album that are like kind of bland. It's like in some ways, like I'm saying this like unironically because obviously like Dagenham Dave has just become like the meme. But I feel like I would almost rather listen to Dagenham Dave than some of the blander songs on this album.
Yes, it's the same for me actually, because what is this? Do Your Best and Don't Worry and Best Friend on the Payroll. It's like I would rather to listen to this silly Dagenham Dave thing than those two. And I actually forgot that what is this? The Teachers Are Afraid of the Pupils is actually on this album, so it would be number 4 for me. That was
a really cool one. I like Southpaw more, but the Teachers track, like especially just opening it up, and I really like the moment where like the rock guitars kind of crescendo and climax like into the strings partway through. I think that's pretty cool as well.
I really like it.
Oh, sorry.
In the album when just one thing, I really like when the first song and the last song are long for some reason in the album, because it's the opening and the close up. I think I like when they are long for some reason.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Bule says, I still highly recommend going back to World of Morrissey compilation and listen to all the songs you haven't heard, some of his best stuff. Boxers is an incredible song from the same time period, which should have been on Southpaw. Yeah, here's the thing with Morrissey is, like, I don't know, like, what, if any, future studio albums of his I would go to after You Are The Quarry. Like, there might be one or two that are worth looking at, but it would probably end up being something like a compilation of things that I kind of missed. Twig says Southpaw Grammar is Morrissey Weird's record, has no tracks that I love or really any that I hate too. Well, the tracks sort of fade into the background for me, don't really entertain me. Also, for once, I have a popular opinion. Boy Racer is my favorite off the record. It's nice to see some longer fleshed out tracks from him too. Dagenham Dave is very cool, though it's kind of like its craziness. Also, like, second worst Morrissey cover ever. It's just kind of ugly. It looks like the way the album kind of feels sometimes. And I kind of wish it had been a different. We talked, I think, on the Bowie video about how important album covers are and how much they can inform the music that you're listening to. And that definitely is the case here. It's like, if this would have had a better, yeah, that's right.
Twig said realities cover.
Yeah, I think we had talked about that in the video, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, where's California Sun? It, like, the choice of album cover really needs to fit the music, and that's the thing with the Smiths and Morrissey is, like, he'll just put either his face or a still from some, magazine or film or whatever, and just call it good. And it's like, sometimes it works extremely well, like with Queen is Dead, and other times it's Morrissey's ass. And that's, what can you do? What can you do? So anyway, final album that I reacted to, You Are The Corey Feldman. 7 responses on the thing here. Really interesting list too. So with 2.28 is First of the Gang to Die. Probably no big surprise to anybody. But then after that at 2.2, we jump down to 4 with Let Me Kiss You. 4.4 with Come Back to Camden. 4.5, I Like You. 5.2, I Have Forgiven Jesus. 5.5, I'm Not Sorry. 6.1, Irish Blood, English Heart. 7.5, You Know I Couldn't Last. 9.1, World is Full of Crashing Bores. 9.2, How Could Anybody Possibly Know How I Feel? 9.5, America Is Not the World. 10.14, All the Lazy Dykes. So, Frostbite, what do you think of this album?
I really like You Are The Quarry. It might be, I might be able to concede that Vauxhall is a better album, like objectively, but I think I might prefer You Are The Quarry.
Interesting.
There's just a lot of songs that I revisit on here. It looks like my list is a bit different than the overall list. I mean, the bottom songs on the overall list are pretty much what I had at the bottom. I just had the upper half, I guess, a little bit different. I had I Have Forgiven Jesus at number 1.
I noticed that in the submission thing. Right here, because I think you were the last one to submit, and I was like, ooh, that's an interesting choice for number 1.
Well, and I don't even think it's my favorite song on the, like, I'm not even prefer First of the Gang to Die to listen to, but I think I Have Forgiven Jesus just might be the best song with, just with the complexity and detail to it. And I feel like it's just a deeper song then. But I had First of the Gang to Die at number 2 and Let Me Kiss You at number 3. So I have those pretty high up. And then I really like I Like You. I really liked I'm Not Sorry. I was surprised that I had it as high, but because it's kind of just keeps the same feeling throughout the whole song. Yeah. But it goes. It's like one of those, like you were talking about earlier, like just the simple. He doesn't do anything special in it, but it just really works with it just being a simple, just all the way through, not going anywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
But other than that, I mean, I think it's just a really good album overall. Besides, I mean, even the songs I had lower down the list, like I started out making my list thinking America Is Not the World I was going to have higher, but I ended up putting it at 10. But I still like that song. The only songs that I probably really don't like is, I would say, All the Lazy Dykes. I really didn't care for, and How Could Anybody Possibly Know? I didn't think that was that great of a song. Although I did like the line where he says, "What's he say? That he's been drugged through 10 miles of shit."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my ranking is, I think, somewhat similar to this, and it's like, regardless of, whatever you think of like the lyrical content of a song like America Is Not the World, I think like as a song it sounds fine, Same with I Have Forgiven Jesus, and I actually think the lyrics on that are pretty good too. I actually almost prefer the instrumental to America Is Not the World over I Have Forgiven Jesus, but like lyrically vice versa, oddly enough. I do like I'm Not Sorry. It has this really like fuzzy production on it, like the bass sounds kind of fuzzy, if I'm thinking of the right song. Irish Blood, English Heart didn't... This album has not stuck with me a whole lot, and I haven't come back to it a ton. I have warmed up to Come Back to Camden. That's obviously a favorite. I Like You Being So High is an interesting one too, because that's almost like a... it's kind of a silly song. Like, I don't quite know how else to put it. Like, after something as mature as Vauxhall, to just be like, I like you. I'm like, all right, Morrissey. But it is catchy. It is catchy. More catchy than Dagenham Dave. I'll say that. Sponge. Yeah, any opinions on You Are The Quarry?
My favourite one has got to be Irish Blood, English Heart. I saw him live and he played that with Jack the Ripper on my last two tracks, and it was so good. And that's always stuck with me, because that just made him... Those two songs, because of that performance, have just made those two songs the best two ones. I butchered that sentence.
It's all good. Speaking of, how many people here have actually seen Morrissey live at all?
Come on, I live in Poland. We don't have...
I've seen him. I've seen him 4 times.
4 times.
I had tickets to see him last year, but I live in Alabama and the concert was in Texas. But Texas had a flood and they had to postpone the concert, and I couldn't go on the date they postponed it to, so I ended up refunding my tickets for it.
Dang.
Actually, Morrissey was in Poland like 3 or 4 years ago, and he went on stage, looked around, and left, and never came back. So yeah, he said he wasn't feeling...
That's a very Morrissey thing to do.
He said he wasn't feeling safe. I mean, come on.
Dude, he lets people come up on the stage and fondle him. What is he talking about?
But he went on a stage in Poland. I mean, when you like go see Morrissey live in Poland, that means you're not like I mean anywhere. It's not like the skinheads go there or something that can like kill you or something. Come on. And yeah, it was definitely a sad moment. I wasn't there, so not that sad for me, but for people there, yeah, sad thing.
You're like, I'll have to go somewhere else if I want to see him, basically.
It's like if you go see Morrissey, you love Morrissey.
Yeah.
They all have their quiz and their turn-ups and their Dr. Martens.
It was really not nice of him, because like you said, when you go see Morrissey, you love Morrissey, and imagine like you're so happy you see Morrissey and he just look around and go off the stage, and that's it. It's like
he's done that at like some like I don't know what it was.
I've heard the story.
Because like he smelled meat one time and then like just left because he felt sick.
Okay, but it's kind of understandable.
That one is.
Also,
but even still, like with that, like imagine being like, oh, he smelled meat and now he left, and I paid money to see him, and
it's definitely a better reason than just look around.
Poland, yeah, definitely.
Also, like I think it was the Smith. No, it maybe wasn't the Smith Fair. Anyway, I've heard the story that he was actually spit on when he was on stage and left. That's totally understandable actually. Mm-hmm. But he just went, looked around, and left. Nice. Thank you for my 200 zloty tickets.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a running joke thing about how often Morrissey cancels shows and doesn't show up. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody talks about how it's like a 50-50 shot that you'll actually get to see him if you buy tickets to see him. So
It's good.
I think that actually he also liked to, from what I've heard, bailing the show when he was touring with Bowie.
Yeah, he left because Bowie was being a prick to him or something.
I've heard he only like make a joke and ordered a sandwich with ham. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard it. And he was like, yeah.
It's good.
Apparently Bowie wasn't that nice to him or something.
Who did I leave off on? Was it Sponge? Were you the last one? I think so.
Yeah, I think I said everything that I needed to say.
Oh, tweak
you're-
about the Are The Quarry. Oh.
Okay, here I'm gonna skip you for now, Ralph. We're gonna read this twig paragraph here. You Are The Quarry is Morrissey trying to be Interpol record while also trying to be as political as Morrissey can be. The guitars make me sick to my stomach because they're so 2000s it hurts. I really love some tracks off this thing though. Favorites are Irish Blood, How Can I May Possibly Know, I Like You, kind of spicy and twiggy. Yeah, no, it's fourth favorite. Before we get to you, Ralph, this made me think like, I think my issue with this album is it's a lot of okay tracks. So the reason I don't come back to it a lot is because there like it doesn't have enough of like a gravitational pull for me quality wise to be like, yeah, I'll go back and listen to that, except for maybe like First of the Gang to Die. Pretty much like the top 4 on the general list here. Let Me Kiss You, Come Back to Camden, I Like You, Maybe I'm Not Sorry. Those would be the only ones I would come back to this thing for. And there's just like, if I'm to go back to Morrissey, there's other things that I would like more than those songs. So Ralph, what do you think about You Are The Quarry? I don't think we've gotten your opinion yet.
To be honest, I've heard this record two times, and I can't really remember the songs. But the more interesting thing about this record for me is that on the cover you've got Morrissey with like Thompson submachine gun, which is not something I would actually. It's kind of surprising for me to see him with a gun, and especially with a Thompson submachine gun. About the songs, I remember my favorite one, which is The First of the Gang to Die. No surprise, and that's it. To be honest, when I was listening to this track, I wasn't really listening to what is Morrissey saying, so I can't really say nothing about the political stuff because I wasn't really paying too much attention.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. It just hasn't pulled me back that often, and I think it's just because of like the overall quality of all the tracks. But so before we go into the ones I haven't heard, any future stuff or whatever, the top 5 Morrissey songs based on your guys' rankings are at number 5, Hairdresser on Fire at 2.62, and with the exact same rating is Suede Head. Then at number 3, 2.28, First of the Gang to Die. At number 3, 2.25, National Front Disco. And number 1 is 1.75, Every Day is Like Sunday, specifically from Viva Hate. So there are the top 5 Morrissey songs, apparently. That seems a little more accurate, I think, than the bottom 5, which are just kind of beholden to how many tracks are on an album. And I don't really know any good way of aggregating those numbers accordingly. But I'd say that seems. I'm surprised Suede Head isn't 2, honestly. I don't know. What do you guys think about that list? Does that seem right?
The only one I would think wouldn't be in there. I wouldn't think National Front Disco would be top 5 Morrissey songs, but the other ones I could all see being up there.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are kind of out of nowhere.
Well, you can't get enough of racist political parties, can't you? Gotta love the kick out.
There you go. There you go.
I would say something, but you would have to like cut really a lot of stuff, Alex. So never mind.
We jump over to, all right, guys, we're in the controversial channel now. Here we go.
Oh yes, I am the king of the controversial channel. Hello, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Hello, my 4 hate watchers who dislike my videos immediately. Very good. Very good.
I just want to say that it's bizarre that there is no tracks from Vauxhall
I know.
on that one.
It's a very well-rounded album, though.
Because I would like take out First of the Gang to Die. I mean, I like that one, but I would put like Hold On to Your Friends because I really like that one.
Well, I think Vauxhall being such a split on what everybody's favorites were would brought down the overall averages for the songs. So
Yeah, like I think it is a mark of quality for Vauxhall that the number 1 song starts at 3. Because it's like with Viva Hate, everyone was like, oh yeah, every day is like Sunday's the best. And so that's why it's like at a 1.7. But in a way, these top 5 songs are more like everyone's favorite choices from specific albums, like obviously, or it's like these are obviously the clear favorites from a lot of albums. And that's why they have such high numbers, I think. I don't know. But, so those are all the albums I listened to. As far as ones... So, does anyone want to talk about Kill Uncle briefly? Oh, yeah, and Twig is going to leave now because he doesn't really care about anything other than what I've heard, and apparently has to eat dinner. So thank you, King Contrarian, for giving us some good entertainment with your opinions fairly well. Anyone have anything to say about Kill Uncle? I don't really know much about it. It's a little more rockabilly, right?
So
I would personally, there's not a single track on Kill Uncle that I ever go back to. I think I've listened through the album once, and I've just found it very underwhelming. I didn't really care for it.
It's really short too. 33 minutes.
I think the self-titled Kill Uncle track is really good. I always go back to that one.
Which one is it?
The self-titled Kill Uncle.
I don't see it on this album. Is it like a...
Oh, is it not called that? I mean, Frank. Actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I got confused with that.
Okay. The opening track.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone 2002 said he only likes the singles off of Kill Uncle. Yeah, it looks kind of like also. Oh no, what are you saying? Sex. Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks, Twig, for staying around to drop more nuggets of wisdom. Yeah,
I just want to say about Kill Uncle that Kill Uncle was a mistake. Sorry, but Kill Uncle is a sin.
Okay.
I listened to it like from first song to the last song and from the last song to the first song, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that Morrissey can put an album that bad. Oh boy.
Bule bro in the chat is actually disagreeing pretty hard. He likes a lot of the tracks, except there are 2 tracks on there that could be two worse. That's what's so fascinating to me about these albums is like going, like I get wildly different opinions from people in the comments where it's like, all right, I'm doing these albums. Everyone's like, good thing you're skipping Kill Uncle. And the next one will be like, why are you skipping Kill Uncle? And I was like, I don't know who to trust.
I mean, actually, I've got the same when I was thinking to listen to Southpaw. Some people said like, no, it's really bad, and I don't know who said it's like really underrated and listen to it. So yeah, I've got the same vibes from people.
Gotcha. Did you have something to say, Frostbite, about Kill Uncle?
Oh, I did. I did. I said I don't ever revisit it. I think it's a pretty bad album, actually.
Gotcha.
I listened through the whole thing once, and I was so underwhelmed by it. There's not a single song that really stood out to me as being good.
I mean, the first song, Our Frank, is it's a good one. not really amazing, but a good one comparing to the others.
Oh, our Frank is almost as good of a title as Dagenham Dave. You're gonna say something, Sponge?
I think Kill Uncle's a great record. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I think it's a really good record.
See,
I think, Alex, I think if you listen to this album, you will be thankful for Dagenham Dave.
Oh
yes!
Wow!
Oh yes!
See,
100%.
I trust you guys. Like you know what I like and what I don't like from the reactions. And if you say that, if you're gonna say that, then I'm like, okay, I think I'm safe skipping Kill Uncle, just from a subjective level. I mean, like I don't remember what video it was that I said it, but I think it may have been the recent Pink Floyd one where it's like I don't feel like any reaction is a complete waste of time because I at least get like musical history and context from it. But like when it comes to just enjoying the music, there are some where I'm like, I'm probably not going to like this. And I felt that way about Kill Uncle for a while. And I think you just cemented that, Frostbite. So, so the other one, I think I've done everything aside from Kill Uncle chronologically, except, Maladjusted. Was between Southpaw and You Are The Quarry, and he looks like he's 16 years old on the cover, which is really confusing. So
you can skip that one. It's not better, definitely.
Which one?
The Maladjusted.
Maladjusted.
Oh,
I'm looking at the track listing, and I don't think it's one that it says. But I will say that Alma Matters I think that's a really great song on the album. The rest of the album, looking at the track listing, doesn't stand out to me any of those songs, but Alma Matters, I like it quite a bit.
I think Satan Rejected My Soul is a really good track.
He seems to have really solid closing tracks on most albums. Least favorite would probably be like Tomorrow, because again, it's the Secret Life of Arabia or whatever syndrome where it's just like, that's the wrong song to pick. But for the most part, I think I've liked every single one of his closing tracks. They've been pretty good. And again, this is one I did Southpaw, and everyone's like, you got to do Maladjusted. And I'm like, why? Why? Convince me. I'm not convinced. So yeah, apparently nothing really. I like how these ones that I haven't listened to, that I've skipped, everyone's like, yeah, it's not good. That's all that has to be said. Ralph, did you say your piece? I can't recall.
About Maladjusted?
Yeah.
I can't even remember if I listened to the whole thing.
Okay, perfect.
I think I just listened to half of it and and I was thinking about other albums I was about to listen to, and I think it was first Björk album, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it on. Morrissey, sorry, but it's too much for me.
Hey, you can't always strike, or what is it? Home run? Strike out? I don't know what I'm saying. So 2006, we have Ringleader of the Tormentors. Decent reviews. This might be one that I'll do. I'm not sure. Really confusing and misleading album art. Makes it look like I'm listening to a Yo-Yo Ma record. 50 minutes, alt rock. Tony Visconti. Wow, look at that. Producing it. So yeah, this is uncharted territory for me. Frostbite. Do you listen to this one?
I have it, and I've listened through it. Because I know all the albums I've listened through. Again, I'm looking at the track listing, and not most of it doesn't stand out that I can't recall.
Looks like we're averaging about like 6 words per title, so that's really good.
But I will say, out of all the tracks on here, the one that does stand out is "You Have Killed Me," which is probably one of my favorite Morrissey songs out of all. So
people have really wanted me to, or keep bringing up "Life Is a Pigsty." They say that one's a highlight. And I know nothing about it. Sponge, what do you think about this one? Have you heard it?
Yeah, it's probably the one I come back to least to, but yeah, You Have Killed Me is an amazing song. One of the best, my favorite modern Morrissey songs, or modern-ish.
Cool.
But it's a good record, but it's probably the one I come back to least to.
Do you think it's better than Are The Quarry?
Oh no, I think Are The Quarry is up there for me, up there with Voxel 9 and Viva Hate.
Okay, because it doesn't have like necessarily like exactly the same ratings, but they're kind of close. Like a lot of people giving them like 8 out of 10s and stuff like that. So, but that's the weird thing about ratings is it's like two different albums can be like considered an 8 out of 10, and one can still be like a lot better than the other based on the context in which you're rating them. So, I always have a really hard time judging which albums I should listen to based off of critic ratings, but it's like I have really no other way to do it unless there's like one specific person I'm referencing where it's like, I trust your opinion with my life with your opinion. Should I do this album? It's like I don't have anyone like that per se where I just fully trust what they say. So I kind of have to go off of like critics somewhat. And that's what I find really interesting about some of these albums is like the ones that are rated sort of similarly, people actually feel quite differently on them, one from another. So, Ralph, got anything to say about this one? Ringleader of the Tormentors?
After Maladjusted, I just gave up.
You haven't listened to anything else from him?
No, I've heard Low in high school, some parts of it, and I don't know.
Okay.
It was a long time ago, actually, and I can't remember anything. So
it's all good, man. It's all good. So, Years of Refusal. This is apparently Twig's favorite.
And it's actually from what I've heard, it's like the one of his worst, I think. So it's pretty obvious that Twig would like it.
It has a 79 on Metacritic and like pretty regular, like 4 out of 5 star reviews. But I've heard no one talk about it.
I mean, I've heard that the big fight between the title of the worst Morrissey album is between World Peace is None of Your Business. It is Iris of Refusal and Kill Uncle. It's a big fight between them. So I don't know.
I'm not super familiar with this whole album, even though I have it. But I will say, It's Not Your Birthday Anymore has been coming on my shuffle a lot, and I really love it. I think it's a great song, but all the other ones, I can't necessarily recall what they sound like off the top of my head.
What about you, Sponge?
I mean, I love this album. I think All You Need Is Me, Something That Screams My Skull, It's Not Your Birthday Anymore, and I'm Throwing My Arms Around Paris are all amazing tracks, and I always come back to this album.
Interesting. Do you think like do you guys think something happened where like people just kind of stopped paying attention to Morrissey or just thought he was like past his prime after like You Are The Quarry or something like that? Because that's kind of the consensus I've gotten from people is like that's kind of when people stopped paying like serious artistic attention to him. But it seems like he still is putting out like well-received stuff. It's just like people aren't really connecting with it much anymore. Is that what I'm to take from it?
I mean, I would agree, but I think it's something that just happens to most musicians, you know, as they get farther in their career, they just lose popular appeal, I guess.
Well, Morrissey also hasn't really changed. Like, it doesn't look like he's really revolutionized himself a lot. Like, you know, with Bowie, with Next Day and Black Star, you're like, ooh, this is like even, you know, as you grow older as an artist, you kind of have to mature a little bit. And that was like, ooh, this is really mature for, you know, this artist to come out with these albums. But it seems like Morrissey's just been doing this alt-rock, indie pop stuff. And he, like, his last, like, big kind of change or maturity was, like, Vauxhall. And it hasn't really gone anywhere since then. He's just been kind of doing the same stuff since, you know, for the last 15 years or so.
I feel the newest album is a lot different to a lot of his other stuff, to be honest. It's got a lot of, electronic beats, and it kind of feels some kind of new wave in a lot of songs, but it doesn't feel new wave, but you can see where it's going if he continues to go on this route.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like you kind of, like, unless you're just like amazing at what you do and can just keep doing the same thing over and over and keep knocking it out of the park, like you kind of have to like shuffle and change yourself up a little bit. You know, it's like Radiohead has had to do that to some degree. Obviously Bowie did that. It's just kind of like inevitable, and I think it like as you change as a person, it kind of happens naturally. But Shiftless says, I think most people are just done with his basic persona, so they don't care much about what he does. Yeah, maybe that's part of it too, is like he just started saying really incendiary stuff way more, and people were like, ew, and just kind of stopped listening. I don't know. But the next album, World Peace is None of Your Business, and anything worthwhile here?
I really have no opinion on this album. I think this is the only studio Morrissey album that I don't have, so I've not actually listened to it.
Really? Interesting. Do you have his new one?
Yeah, I have it.
Cool. So no opinion there. Sponge, anything from you?
I mean, I'd say it's probably his worst album. It's not awful. It's not like bad. It's just not as appealing as anything else. I think.
Is it like bland? Is that the problem?
No, it's just. Oh yeah, I'd say it's bland, but it's just nothing new or anything. Some of the songs are good, like "Kick the Brine Down the Aisle" and "World Peace Is None of Your Business" are both good songs. I just don't go back to them many times.
I think that the problem with Morrissey is that he hasn't changed in a musical term, but he as a person changed quite a lot.
Right.
I mean, he was basically like it's basically comes down to the politics. He was like quite left wing. When he was in the Smiths, he said things like, I've read in a book, he said something like, socialism is the only way things could be right now, something like that. And then he said some quite, maybe not quite, just right-wing things. And journalists were like, savage. Like somebody wrote this here that savagely attacked him. And by the way, it's, like the whole many fans of Morrissey are also the Smiths fans. So it's basically like, imagine if they're like the Morrissey who is like, who said many things in the past when he was in the Smiths, is saying things like, okay, I think I can't say it because it's going on YouTube, but you can find those things. It's not a big deal for me, but for some really hard left-wing people, I think it can be.
Yeah. That seems to kind of be like part of his downfall is the things he says, and there are like ardent fans who are just like, I love the music and I still love him as a person regardless of what he says. And there was a I mean, it's funny how someone so right wing can hate Thatcher so much. Yeah, I thought that was amusing. Like, I remember listening to Margaret on the Guillotine, and I'm like, wait, like, I'm like comparing this to like the things that he said, and I'm like, what an enigma of a man. Like, not only like sexually ambiguous, and you're just like, you can't quite pin him down and mount him like a butterfly. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But also like politically, you're just like, what are your opinions? Like, I can't figure you out. Frostbite.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know if I would consider Morrissey right wing.
He's like, he floats in and out of things.
I wouldn't call him an F word, that's for sure. But I mean, it's. He's a bizarre guy, like you said. He said, like I said, that socialism is the only, and so on. But also he said, for example, he's singing in the National Front disco, England from the English. So it's kind of changing.
That is about like a racial political party, though. He's not saying that.
Yeah? Oh. And then, so he said something different, I think it was 4 years ago, about Chinese people. I don't want to get into that, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and like he'll criticize England in one sentence and then say how much he cherishes it in the other, which that's rational to some degree. But like it's almost like this Andy Kaufman thing where you're just like, what what part of you is serious and authentic, and what part of you is just like hiding things and like planting misleading stuff. And I think that's part of, you know, the mystery of Morrissey and why a lot of people really enjoy him, not only for his music, but because of his like personality and persona, is because of how mysterious and sometimes confusing he can be. And that kind of keeps people paying attention until he says, you know, too many of the wrong things, and now nobody has really cared about him for the last 10 years, or cared about what he's done in the last 10 years, I guess you could say.
I mean, it's really weird for me, because even if I'm right-wing person and he says left-wing things, it's not a big deal for me.
Right.
But other way around, you know, things kind of change.
That's true. So how many more albums do we have? 3? Yeah, 3. So Low in High School, 2017. What do you think, guys?
I think it's okay. I mean, I think the standout tracks are "Spent the Day in Bed" and "Jackie's Only Happy," which were, I think, were both singles. And then I Wish You Lonely, I thought was pretty good too.
I got recommended the "Spent the Day in Bed" video a ton on YouTube before I think it was while I was listening to The Smiths. It's like, you should watch "Spent the Day in Bed." It's like,
yeah, I mean, I think when he put that out, that was I think that might be the biggest thing that he had in several years. Talking about how, you know, all those last several albums didn't get a lot of attention. I think that video, and when he put out that song, he got a lot of attention from that.
Interesting. Sponge, you have any opinions on this one?
Might just because I'm a big Morrissey fan, love everything he does, but I adore this album. I think the last couple tracks are astounding. Like, "Say Daddy, Who'll Protect Us from the Police." I think that's amazing song. I'll always go back to that one. And then "Spent the Day in Bed" and "You Are Lonely," also really good songs. "Jackie's Only Happy When She's Up on the Stage," really good song.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words in that title. Oof, good job, Morrissey.
Yeah, classic Morrissey title.
Ralph, you know anything about this?
I don't know. I've heard one song, I think, from that. It was something about Tel Aviv, so I'm not sure. And the problem with these albums is they are okay, but they are definitely post peak of Morrissey, and it's nothing like something for me worth checking out.
Right.
They are okay, but they are not something like I said, not something worth checking out. It's just the same goes, for example, in 90s Bowie. He's definitely
don't let Twig hear that.
Oh yeah, he would kill me if I said Earthling is my least favorite.
Yeah, well, I like that we have Sponge in here as like a, you know, I don't know if I'd say Morrissey fanatic, but at least like a very ardent Morrissey. Okay, so a Morrissey fanatic, because it's like, you people do exist out there, but it's a very interesting perspective, like someone who really enjoys like a specific artist like in such a diehard way compared to, you know, the standard or average opinion from other people. I really like the insight that people who are very not like obsessive to the point of like not seeing quality at all, or like not being able to tell quality, but someone who just really adores and follows a specific artist in particular. I really like that insight and, you know, opinion. So California Sun, 12th album from Morrissey in 2019. Any thoughts on this one? Anybody?
I think it gets a lot of crap because it's a covers album, but I think it's pretty good. I don't think just because it's all covers, you know, makes it. I guess a lot of people presume that means it's bad or something, but I think it's got a lot of good tracks on it. Morning Starship, Only a Pawn in Their Game, It's Over, Lady Willpower. I mean, there are quite a few pretty good songs on here.
Am I mistaken in thinking that these are like somewhat more obscure songs? Because I know I recognize a lot of the people he's covering, but not necessarily these individual tracks. Are these like kind of more obscure ones?
That's what I thought too. Because when I seen he was doing a covers album, I was excited to see what they were. And then when I read the track listing, I was like, I've never heard of a single one of the songs.
At first, I thought it was just a normal Morrissey album, but then I read into it and it was covers. But I've never heard any of the songs.
I'm surprised he like hasn't done something like this sooner because he he did Golden Lights with the Smiths. I'm trying to think like he did
Golden Lights.
Sorry, I know I hate to bring back on the Chain Gang.
Christopher Ward is a cover too, I think.
Because he enjoys obviously enjoys a lot of music, and I'm just surprised that he hadn't been covering stuff solo. Because I know that Marr would push back on that kind of stuff when he was with the Smiths, but like solo, I'm surprised he hadn't done more covers in general. Unless I'm missing.
He does a lot of covers live. I've seen him do quite a few live. I guess he just doesn't, record them for his albums generally.
Interesting.
He does a lot of Patti Smith covers when he's live.
I did not.
You see that in Beethoven was Deaf. Yeah, I think there's a Patti Smith cover in there.
Cool. Any other thoughts on California Sun before I move on? No? Okay. So, most recent one, I'm Not a Dog on a Chain. This came out 5 months ago?
It was a start rolling one out.
Yeah, I've heard Bobby Don't You Think They Know because that got recommended on YouTube. And it's not that bad. I like the production, and it does have a little bit of a bite to it, and I think was it you, Sponge, who said he's kind of going in a little more of an electronic direction?
Yeah.
I kind of got that vibe from it too. I haven't heard any other tracks off of this thing. And I wasn't super blown away by that one song, but any of you guys listen to this thing yet?
Yeah, I like this album. I think it's pretty good. I think it's probably better than California Sun and Low and High School. It's probably better than both of those. And I think I like most of the songs on this album. But yeah, I mean, Jim Falls, Love Is on Its Way Out, Bobby Don't You Think They Know, Knockabout World, The Truth About Ruth. I mean, I don't think any of the songs in this album are just bad.
What about you, Sponge?
I think this is a really good album. I'm pretty twisted if it's as good as California Sun as Lowe's High School. I think it might be better than California Sun, but not as good as Lowe's High School.
Interesting.
I really like California Sun, but it never really stood out to me, I think. But the new album, I think it's very interesting to listen to at first because it's very different to the previous couple albums. Well, it's not. It's very different to the start of Morrissey, which you would expect. But when you listen to Morrissey through the years, you wouldn't expect it.
Gotcha.
But I feel like Jim Falls is a really good track, and Lovin' on His Way Out is a really good track as well.
Ralph, have you listened to this?
No. Listen, the problem with Morrissey, I mean, the whole problem isn't exactly involved with Morrissey. It's a problem. That's the same problem I had with Bowie. His 2000, for example, work. I think I've never heard the B-side of Reality. I mean, No Reality, the Heathen from Bowie.
Heathen was a great album. What are you talking about?
I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's just something behind those years that something changed in so many artists that I just don't enjoy that much their work there. So I don't know. I actually didn't enjoy, for example, I mean, I liked it, but not that much. The Next Day from Bowie. It was fine album. It was I enjoyed it, but actually never came back.
That's understandable.
I came back to only the Black Star from those years.
Yeah, that's
The same goes with Morrissey here. It's like I'm listening to those albums, and they are good, but there is nothing outstanding about them. It's not like, for example, that there's nothing like. It's hard to explain for me, but just nothing I would remember.
I feel yeah. It's like we don't have what Sponge has. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I know that, for example, when you grew up listening to an artist, it's a different thing, and of course I respect that. But
I get what you're saying. It's as his albums are going on, he's not innovating and doing something new, something that you've not heard before.
Oh yes.
I kind of get that. When I go into listen to it, I guess I just kind of think about it a little differently. Like when I get a new album by an artist, I'm not necessarily expecting them to do something completely different or something completely new. As long as it's sonically enjoyable, even if it's similar to stuff they've done before, as long as they're still putting out something that's good and enjoyable, I like it. It doesn't have to be just something brand new I've never heard before. Just as I'm one of those people that even when artists that I like put out stuff that's just okay, or like even going back talking about Southpaw, Alex, how you said you think it would be better as an EP with just the 3 songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the rest of the songs on the album aren't up to par, I'm always one of those people that likes to hear as much music from artists as they put out. I never ask for less music, from the artists I like.
See, that's what I find really fascinating about like people's opinions and what they want or expect from like an artist, because it's like, there's people like Frostbite and Sponge who, are able to like enjoy more, and it's like their threshold for enjoyment is a little bit like lower or different, whereas like Ralph, who has Morrissey as a profile picture, is like taking.
I feel kind of silly when I have this profile picture right now, but I have nothing more actually. I had Ralph Hutter from Kraftwerk, but it's just kind of.
No, because it's like I think it's possible to like really enjoy Morrissey, but only a certain portion of him. Because I kind of feel the same way with other artists too. Like I remember, kind of as I got into music, Coldplay was one of the first bands that it's like baby's first art rock band that I got into. And like as time went on, like their music got worse to me. And it's like while I still really cherish like them as people, I don't necessarily listen to everything that they do and enjoy it. So it's like when it comes to Morrissey, it's like, yeah, I'd call myself a Morrissey fan, but also like I have a certain like threshold. And also it's like it depends on how you look at the albums and how you look at, how the songs flow. It's like, do you really care about how an album flows? And, will that affect how you come back to it? So it's like it's all about people's like values and what they really put value in when it comes to like artists and bands, and it's completely different, but they're all like equally valid, which is interesting.
It may be a problem with me. Maybe I just want my head to be blown after every album, and it's simply not. It's not possible. It's probably the problem with me. Although I have some bands that I. Maybe not fanatically, but enjoy pretty much 99% of their work. So
yeah.
So, for example, Joy Division actually.
And I think I have some bands like that too, where it's like I love the band and the people and the ethos that they put out enough that I enjoy some of their songs that I wouldn't enjoy if I didn't like them as much. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes. For example, the same goes with Kraftwerk. And the early stuff they made is basically most of the songs are basically a ruckus. Basically, like some kind of experimentation and all, and I'm just sitting here like, whoa, whoa, that's cool, man. And I get it when people don't like it. For example, Tweak here. Not not even talking about his stock hot takes, but he says that he don't exactly like this type of music, this era, and I get it. But I think they did that much that I enjoy like every single album, every single song, like a lot.
And I also like there are certain bands like just off the top of my head, the Magnetic Fields, where I like the music and I like them as people and just kind of the type of atmosphere that they put out enough to where I'm willing to listen to things that maybe aren't considered as good by most people. And it's like I feel like I have a higher chance of liking it than they would. And it's probably like I just don't have that with Morrissey is the thing. But I think we all have that with like certain people. It's just like it's a whole package of like the music, the lyrics, the people that they perform and write with, and them as people. It's just like a whole package. And if it doesn't fully click with some people, then it might be like me and Ralph, where we just kind of pick and choose our eras or favorite albums. And there are other people who are just like, I love this person or band like wholly, and are willing to, you know, kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, or even like enjoy something that they put out that other people might not enjoy as much. So yeah, I think that's it. Is that it on Morrissey, guys? We went, how long did we go? 2 hours, 12 minutes? I knew that when I said 60 to 90 minutes, like we're going to go 2 hours, just like we did last time. Of course.
Yeah, the last one was pretty long. But, you know, we had like 10 albums, I think.
Yeah, like we went through, what, like 6 albums here, and we somehow managed to make it just as long as like the 10 or 11 we did.
I think we had more people talking for this one.
Yeah, we had more people here talking.
I think so too, yeah.
Because last time it was like 3 people, except you, Alex. It was like me, Frostbite, and someone else, I think.
Shiftless was talking.
Oh, yeah, Shiftless.
We may have had one other person. Twig was in it for a little bit, but not for long.
He left after Young Americans, I think.
Yeah. So any like closing thoughts on Morrissey? Anything like that? Final stuff to say?
I mean, not really. Besides, I guess just, you know, Morrissey and the Smiths have ended up becoming one of my favorites, and I'm still trying to get to see him someday in concert. I'm still when concerts finally start up again, I will eventually make it to however far I have to drive to see this man.
Well, I know that Smash Mouth is getting a lot of flack for doing a concert recently. So I feel like if Smash Mouth are able to do it, then like would Morrissey fans go see a Morrissey concert, or would they stay home in the middle of 2020? What do you think they'd do?
Morrissey's like
Stay
60
home.
something. He's like vulnerable to coronavirus something.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
He'd come out and be like, "Sorry, love, not gonna. I don't have a Morrissey voice." He's like, "Sorry, I'm not doing the show tonight," and then he just leaves.
Again. I mean, if I'm going to see Morrissey, then probably it's gonna be in other part of Europe, because he was here like twice, and I
He
don't
likes to
have.
play in Germany.
Yeah, in Germany, but it's like 600 kilometers, so it's not like I can walk there, and I don't have a car or money to like have a train to Germany. So sadly, Morrissey, either he'll going to come to Warsaw or no Morrissey.
You can move to America. You can live in my house.
I mean. That would be cool, but America, sorry guys, I don't feel.
I have a crawl space.
Hmm.
I don't have a spare room, but I do have a crawl space.
I don't need that much to living. I need my computer and turntable. So
Okay, yeah, I'll throw some Joy Division vinyls down the hole. You'll be good. Okay. Shiftless says, anything you want to state of the channel coming up? I don't know what that means.
I mean, the one that came out, the Alex Haitz too.
I don't think so. I haven't uploaded to that one recently. I mean, as far as the main channel goes, I'll probably upcoming schedule. I want to do some more live streams at some point. I'm probably going to dial back to like 1 reaction a day instead of 2 because that's been kind of like making me go sort of crazy. But yeah, still going forward with Cocteau Twins, and I'm going to occasionally do like a random classic album for as long as I have free time. So that's pretty much
Actually, I've started listening to Cocteau Twins because I saw your reactions. So.
Nice. These early ones haven't hit with me very much, but I do love Treasure and I do love Heaven or Las Vegas, and I'm really eager to get to their later stuff. I think I'd like those a lot.
I only know one song by them.
I listened to like the first 3, and the first one was like okay, but the second and third was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love Treasure. Treasure's great. That's the plan anyway. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. I suppose we'll do a Cocteau Twins discussion when I'm done with them for whoever wants to be in that. I don't know how many people would be interested because it's kind of like my problem is like I have a lot of post-punk, jangle pop fans or viewers, from like the Joy Division, New Order, and Smith stuff. So and I don't have a ton from Cocteau Twins. I think like I don't think there's a ton of crossover.
Maybe do a New Order and Joy Division discussion.
Yeah, that would
good.
be great.
That would be good. I'd be down for that. And I've been wanting to do just a normal basic Smiths discussion as well. I think we could get a ton of material out of that too.
Oh yes.
I'll be there when you do Rolling Stones at some point, man. We'll figure that out. Okay,
and
so
One more thing I want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I know you had like you have like so many albums to react to, but I would love to see you react to Kraftwerk.
I want to at some point. I tried Trans Europe Express at one point, just like it was like 5-7 years ago, and I was like, what? And I just stopped listening. But that, Autobahn, that's Kraftwerk, right?
Yeah, Autobahn is Kraftwerk.
That's another one. The first time I ever learned that Kraftwerk existed was because I found out that Coldplay took their riff from Computer Love for their song Talk. Yeah. And then I was like, what's this Kraftwerk thing? And then I listened to it, and it's like, oh, it's old beep boop music. I don't know anything about this.
I just want you to hear the Taschenrechner song because it's a great one. It's a song about the calculator. Great one.
I really do need to do more electronic. Yeah, and that's the thing is it's like I'm trying to balance like what I would like to listen to versus what is popular versus spanning different genres, and it's just like I never know if I'm making the right choice on what I'm listening to next. But Kraftwerk definitely is in the pipes. So I think that's it. Thank you guys for this chat that went on for over 2 hours. It was very enjoyable. So for all you on YouTube, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more content, and I will see you all later.